I think numbers don't just percolate through mathematics and physics and chemistry and the sciences, but they're in everything around us. So poetry is an extreme form of wordplay in which numbers dictate form and structure, which give more beauty to it. The number is 14. 14 because I want to recite to you, Brady, a love sonnet which has 14 lines. These 14 lines are structured to come in groups of 4, 4, 4 and 2. And they actually have to go all the way through in a particular structure using what are called iambic pentameters, which means that they go da-da, 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 da-da in each line. So there is a rhythm of 10 in each line, which imposes an enormous constraint on a poet trying to fit these da-da, da-da, da-das into this rigid structure of 14 lines. So the one I want to talk about is Sonnet 18. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometimes declines by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long live this, and this gives life to thee. Shakespeare wrote these poems in the form of a sonnet. It's called a Shakespearean sonnet, and they were love poems to, well, I think it was written either for his patron so that they could pass it on to their girlfriends, or to his boyfriends. Who knows? The numbers were this beat of iambic pentameters, 10 syllables, and at the end you have a rhyme. So in the first line you have, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. May, date, which rhymes with temperate. Shines, dimmed, declines, untrimmed. Fade, ost, shade, growest, see, thee. So the last two lines don't rhyme every other one, they have to rhyme with each other. So this is a summary and a sudden emphasis through the rhythm and through the words of the whole meaning of the poem. It's rigidly structured to have these rhymes all the way through it, to have these beats running all the way through it.
Are the numbers purely adding a straitjacket to constrain the poet, or are the numbers helping the poet to add beauty?
Well, that's a deep question, which you've just thought up, and I have no idea which comes first, the chicken or the egg. I think Shakespeare was so fluent in all aspects of wordplay that he could turn his hand to anything, and it was almost as though he took the old Plutarch version of sonnets, turned it slightly differently, and showed he could write 150 odd of these things at will, knocking off 10 at a time because he was so fluent. And I don't think the numbers were a constraint to him at all, but to any other poet, modern poets, they would find it incredibly difficult. Shakespeare had an enormous vocabulary, much bigger than scholarly people of these days. It was as though he had words from all sorts of language mixed in, and how somebody from Stratford could have such a vocabulary is beyond me, and it's because of that that he found such fluency. We got married in 72, August the 12th, and that's a photo a year later, and we were in Stratford-on-Avon on a beautiful sunny day. And my wife was wearing a flowery dress, and she looked absolutely beautiful in front of this cottage, which was Anne Hathaway's cottage, Shakespeare's wife. Now, don't think that Shakespeare wrote sonnets for his wife. It's not that sort of romantic liaison they had. It was more, well, he left her, for example, and I've never left my wife for any length of time.